What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into episode 66, everybody. Today's episode is going to be my kicker and defense. I'm going to give you top 10 rankings on each one, plus a streamer I like for each one as well. So in case these aren't on your waiver wire or the kickers aren't available, you can grab a play that I like for the week also. Before we go any further, guys, make sure you take 1 second, click that like button, hit that subscription, turn that noti on. I will be live Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, going over all sorts of shows, going over everything, trades, dynasty, rosters, start sits, whatever you guys need. And if you can't make the live show, always drop your comments into the comment section. Any fantasy football question you have, I will answer them as fast as I can. And if you guys want to check out, I got all my rankings done today, guys. I'm exhausted. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, all the videos are out. This is my last video of the day. Tomorrow, I will be doing my start-em, sit-em videos for running back, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end as well. And then that will close out Wednesday, guys. And I cannot thank you for all the support. It's been absolutely amazing. And let's dive into the kicker and defense here, guys, on the week. So here is my board, guys, for the kickers and defenses. I will not be using the ballers tier. I'll use tier 1, tier 2. That'll be my top 10 kickers up there. Then tier 4, tier 5 will be my defenses. And then I will give you a streamer on each one that I like this week in case they're not available on your wire this week, guys. And what I look for when I'm looking for kickers is I'm looking for high-powered offenses and defense that give up tons of points a game, or matchup possibilities that I like as well for another, great play in that situation. So my number one kicker on the week, and this is a no-brainer every single time. I mean, this guy can kick from 80 yards, man. Brandon Aubrey, you get the New York Giants on Thursday Night Football. This should be an absolute smash Brandon Aubrey game. The New York Giants are giving up 21.3 points a game, haven't played that great of a schedule, and their defense has not been great at all. They're middle of the tier, averaging 318 yards. Dak should absolutely feast in this game. Number 2, he dropped a goose egg last week, man. He cost me in a lot of leagues. Kaimi Fairbairn was dropping 20 points a game, and all of a sudden last week versus Minnesota, they got blown out of the water, and they decided, hey, let's just not kick a field goal here. He missed the 50-yard or two wide over the pole. That one hurt. But, man, he's going to bounce back. The Jacksonville Jaguars defense is bottom of the barrel, guys. They gave up 28.3 points a game. Their defensive passing that they let go is absolutely astronomical. Josh Allen just ate him alive. Kaimi Fairbairn is my number 2 kicker. Number 3 is Harrison Butker, and honestly, any of these guys right here, I love these 3 so much, they can all be number 1, but I just can't rank anyone over Aubrey right now. He's just a machine out there. He's actually a fantasy weapon. Now, the Chiefs get the Chargers here. Chargers' offensive line is beat up with injuries. They might not have Justin Herbert. This may be a full send Chiefs scoring attack here, and that's why I have the Chiefs defense number 1 as well. So I'll jump down there, and we'll talk about it at the same time, is they're not going to be able to move the ball here. This is going to be opportunity after opportunity after opportunity for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Harrison Butker could absolutely light this one up, even though the fact that the Chargers defense is very good. I mean, they're just going to be on the field so long here that I love Harrison Butker as my kicker 3 this week. Number 4 is going to be Jake Moody, and again, you're looking for matchups here, right? I'm looking at the New England Patriots. I'm looking at them not moving the ball at all, them not scoring any points. I know their defense is kind of decent. It's not amazing. It's not great. It's middle tier. I mean, they don't give up that many points, but they also haven't played that many great opponents at the same time. And I think when they head to San Fran, Moody's going to be banging in a lot of field goals in this game. Number 5 is Chris Boswell, and this guy's a machine of field goals. And why you like to pick him up if he's on your waiver wire is because their defense stops everyone. The steel curtain is for real. They get the Indianapolis Colts this week. You're probably going to get 2 picks from Anthony Richardson. He's going to be under massive pressure from Watt and the entire nasty Steelers defense. It's absolutely insane. And Anthony Richardson has been really struggling, guys. So you could possibly see 3 to 4 kicks here because the Steelers offense isn't built for scoring high points. It's not built for big plays, even though they have Pickens. They've had a tough go with the schedule they've had. But you're in an Arthur Smith ran offense. It's going to be ugly. I mean, even though they're 3-0, which is amazing, it's still going to be a lot of kicking in this game, and I like Chris Boswell a lot this week. Cincinnati Bengals get the Carolina Panthers, the number 1 defense, giving up the most points at 31.7 a game. Money McPherson is going to be a great play this week. The Carolina Panthers can't stop anything on defense. This should be a smash game for all Bengals here. I know Andy Dalton lit it up. I called that last week. It was one of my great calls. I said Deontay Johnson would pop 2. but the Bengals have to win this game. They cannot go 0-4. They're just getting everything together and clicking now, and they need to win now. And I feel like Money Mac is going to have 2 or 3 field goals attempts into this game. Matt Prader, the old man, has still got it, guys. I mean, it's crazy to say, but he's 42 years old, I believe, and still can bang a 55-yarder. And if I'm looking at Justin Tucker, he's already missed 3. So, I mean, I'm still going to have Justin Tucker up here on the ranking, but the leg looks like it's dying out, and Prader looks like he can still bang a 60-yarder. And he's averaging over 10 points a game as a kicker, and he's on some wires. It's kind of crazy to me to even look at like that. So if he's available on your wire, I love him as a pickup this week. So I'm pulling up his stats. He had 8 points, 9 points, 14 points. So he's literally averaging about 11 points a game as a kicker. That's what you want. That's solid. You get the Washington Commanders. Their defense is absolutely terrible. They give up 29.3 points a game, and they give up 377 yards a game. They don't stop anything. This is a smash play with Matt Prater this week. Number 8 is Blake Group. The Saints offense was humming for the first 2 weeks, and they were stymied against the Philadelphia Eagles front, man. It was an ugly game there. I can't fully say that I'm like not believing in the Saints just after one game because they look so good in the first 2, but they did play the Cowboys and they did play the Panthers. And I really don't think either of those teams are very good. But if I'm averaging it out, and this is why you should like McPherson so much here, is week 1, Blake Group kicked 22 points with the field goals versus the Panthers. So he's averaging right now about 14 points a game. He has slowed down to 7 and 6 points. And his attempts are going down because they scored more touchdowns. That's what hurt him. But in this game this week, it shouldn't be the same, I'm going to say. Again, Atlanta's defense is very good. They're very good in the red zone. They should stop them. There should be field goal attempts here for both sides. But it's tough because the Saints can score 2. But I'm still going to keep Blake here because the offense is great. Number 9, old man Justin Tucker. I mean, for some reason, he's missing the 50-yarders like I alluded to first when I started this. But, man, the Ravens' offense is good. They should be moving the ball. They should be kicking. I mean, he's only had 3 points last game versus Dallas, and they were up 28, so they scored touchdowns. Henry ran him in, and it really hurt his kicking game. He scored 12 against the Raiders, 7 against the Chiefs, but he's missed 3 50-yarders. So he's definitely going down my board. And there may be better opportunity of kickers if Father Time has kicked in on one of the greatest kickers of all time, but I'm still going to keep him in the top 10 because it's Justin Tucker for now. But a couple more games with misses, and I'm definitely going to be moving him out of here. Number 10 is Younghoe Koo. Off to a slow start. The Falcons offense is not moving the same here. I almost didn't put him in the rankings, to be honest, but I feel like if I watch the Philly game and the Saints game, it could be a low grunge game where there's a lot of kicking, or it could be a game where the Falcons score a ton and they blow them out because the Saints aren't for real. So I was kind of on the fence here. He hasn't had the normal Younghoe Koo season. He's only had 1 game with 10 points and 4 points and 7 points. So he's probably on most wires. I'm not saying like go out and spend fab on him or anything crazy or a waiver wire spot, but I'm going to put him in the top 10 this week, hoping that he pops off this game. And no, this could go either way. This one's kind of a dart throw because of his big name. So that is my top 10 kickers for the week. But I told you guys I will give you a streamer that I like that is most likely on your waiver wire. And for me, the streamer kicker I'm going to put right here in the middle, it's going to be Jake Bates of the Detroit Lions. Now, Bates just had a bad game, so he's going to be dropped by most people because that's how it goes in fantasy football. He had 1 point, guys, and he missed a field goal, and it was really, really ugly. Not even close. But now you're going to get Seattle on Monday night at home. Seattle's defense is good in the red zone. Seattle holds a lot. They've had an easy matchup schedule, though, for the first 3 games as well. So I don't fully think that Seattle's defense is as electric as everyone thinks it is. But I'm willing to take a powerhouse offense kicker that people have dropped because of a 1 bad game, 1 point. I mean, he was averaging 9 points before that. He had 8 points, 10 points, and then he had a bad game. So he's most likely on your wire. Definitely someone I'm willing to play as a streamer this week. And possibly, I mean, I could see him outscoring Tucker and Koo. I mean, you're on one of the best offenses in the NFL with a solid defense. This should be someone that shouldn't be on your wire, but is. Heading on the defensive side, we already talked about the Kansas City Chiefs getting the Chargers. They should absolutely eat them alive this week. It shouldn't even be close. If there's no Herbert, Easton Stick is in for a shit show. The New York Jets get the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos. I know they just beat the Bucks. It was very confusing as to how their running game was absolutely non-existent besides Bo Nix. Their passing game picked up a little bit. Tampa Bay just had that one bad matchup game right there. I feel like they were riding high and overlooked the Broncos, and the Broncos popped them in the face. So this is a different beast here. This is the New York Jets defense. You're not passing on Sauce Gardner or DJ Reed with Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton or Vele. Let's be real. This is going to be really, really ugly for the Broncos. And I thought about putting Greg Zuerlein up here too in this game because Denver's defense is pretty good in the red zone, but that's a name to think about as well as a possible streamer if he's on your wire. Number 3, the 49ers defense. They get the Patriots. That's like the best get-right game you could get. The New England Patriots offense is absolutely terrible, guys. I mean, it's so hard to watch Jacoby Brissett. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson was my number 1 sell high after week 2. I hope you guys listen to that. The schedule doesn't get any better for the Patriots heading forward. The Niners are going to have everyone out there. They're pissed off from the Rams game. They just blew the game. I'm a Niner fan. I couldn't believe that we blew that game with the Rams. And they're going to come out at home just firing this week. Number 4, it's time for the bounce back, man. This one's bold. So the Dallas Cowboys defense right now, guys, is giving up 372 yards a game. They are giving up 29.7 points per game. But now you get Danny Dimes. This is where they get right. I know Danny Dimes has looked good for 2 games, and he's over 20 points, and it's all gravy right now in New York. But I'm not buying it. I'm buying Micah Parsons, and the Cowboys will be pissed off after last week. So the Cowboys had 20 points in week 1 versus Cleveland, and then 1 point and -1 versus Baltimore. Now they're coming. Now they get, and it's time to pick them up too. You get the Giants and you get Pittsburgh back to back. So pretty solid plays here if they're on your wire as well. And I think they're going to have a 10-plus game here against Danny Dimes and possible pick 6 because it's Danny Dimes. Number 5, this defense is always in the top 5. It's absolutely matchup proof. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to get the struggling Anthony Richardson. This is going to be a smash game for the Steelers. They haven't had a single game under 10 points yet on defense. They're averaging 12 points a game as a whole against Atlanta, Denver, and the Chargers. Now, I know Herbert went down. Their points went up a little bit. They got a couple more sacks. They had 5 sacks. They got 3 sacks once Herbert was down. But this defense is just nasty, man. The steel curtain is back. I don't want to play anybody versus them. That's how good they are. Like, I was like, well, do I want to start Jonathan Taylor? Yeah, it's Jonathan Taylor. You still got to start him, but you're not happy about it. That's for sure. Number 6, the Chicago Bears get the beat-up LA Rams to come to Soldier Field. 4 linemen down, Cooper Kupp down, Puka Nacua down, defense is in shambles. This should be the get-right Bears defense game where they eat it up. And Stafford can't get out of the pocket. You know he's older, but he's still smart enough to make not like dumb throws like Anthony Richardson. He's not going to throw like picks or nothing like that. I mean, he rarely throws picks, but this is going to be a game where he could get eaten up. Their offensive line is very, very beat up, and the Bears are hungry, man. Their D-line is very good. It's going to be an ugly game for Stafford. Number 7, we're going to try it again. I ranked them as the number 1 defense last week, just like every single freaking person. I mean, you look at FanDuel, you can look at anything you want. They were the highest priced defense for everything, and they got absolutely blown up by Andy Dalton. I mean, it's absolutely mind-blowing that it happened. But now you get Gardner Minshew and the Raiders. Gardner Minshew and the Raiders just struggle versus the Panthers defense. The Cleveland Browns defense is way more elite than a defense that has 2 stars missing like the Panthers. This should be a smash game for the Browns D. I know they still got 7 points against the Giants, but it's still, I haven't seen the Browns pop 15 yet with all their talent out there. Myles Garrett's going to be out for a little bit, but still, the matchup is very good here, and they should be a smash start this week as a defense. Number 8 is the defense that is leading the NFL in turnovers. 8 turnovers for the Green Bay Packers. Their defense is just flying around. They are fighting for their quarterback, Jordan Love, is what it seems like. And they're playing their ass off, man. Against Tennessee, they got a pick 6. I mean, Will Levis threw it right to Jair Alexander. Against the Colts, they had 12 points. And even against Philly on opening Friday night in a 35-point game on both sides, they still had 7 points. So, I mean, they have 6 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. They are getting after the ball. They are ball hawking. If this defense is on the wire, they might be playable weekly here. You get Minnesota, you get the Rams. Arizona and Houston is going to be tough, but you get at least 2 good games out of them if they're available. So they're a solid pickup as well. Number 9, the Houston Texans, and this is crazy because the Texans' pass D has not been good all year. I mean, I think they're ranked 4th against the pass right now in yards given up. It's not going well for the Houston Texans defense, but they're great up front. And what's going on the other side of the ball? Trevor Lawrence is lost in la la land. He's absolutely playing terrible. It's like he's not reading the defense. He's playing scared. He's making dumb throws, and then he'll make a throw that looks great. So it's like, it's very weird what's going on in Jacksonville right now. And this could be a game where the wheels just fall off for the Jags right here. I mean, if they haven't fallen off already after Monday Night Football being down 30 points at halftime, this could get really, really ugly for the franchise here in week 4, going down 0-4 and getting smashed back to back if the Houston Texans do what I think they're going to do. Number 10, this one's risky as well, but I like it. Just like Younghoe Koo at 10, I got the Falcons at 10, right? So the Falcons defense, guys, is good. They're just playing tough opponents right now. They had the most ridiculous start to the season of a schedule you could ever have. So they had Pittsburgh, number 1 defense. Philly, contender. Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl fucking back-to-back, right? Then they get the Saints. So either they're, like I said with Younghoe Koo, either they're pretenders or they're contenders. And we're going to find out right here because these Falcons are actually good, man. As soon as they get their schedule going and they get out of this grindhouse that they're in here at the beginning, they're going to pick it up. They're going to start moving the ball here and they're going to get it going. But this is the ultimate test right here. If they play bad against the Saints, then I'm going to change my tune and be like, well, or maybe I say the Saints are good. You know, I got to watch the game first. But I think this defense is going to hold Carr. I mean, they held Mahomes. Besides Rashee Rice, he ate him up, but that's Mahomes. That's a given. And they held Pickens. They let A.J. Brown bust one, but that was it. So, I mean, their defense is coming together. The offseason pickups they have the 2 best safeties in Bates and Simmons. They pick up Judon. They have a lockdown corner in Terrell. They can get after you, man. So I really like this pickup for season long. But I'm going to throw it out there as my number 10 because I just watched the Saints and Philly game stay under 27 points. So it could be a good play here with the Falcons. Now, number 11, and if they're on your wire, they're on a couple of my 12-man league wires, and I play in competitive leagues. The Minnesota Vikings, guys, is the defense that's just matchup proof right now. And I would have never said this coming into the season at all with the Vikings, but they just beat 2 back-to-back playoff teams. They're a top 15 overall scorer in fantasy football total points, which is crazy. The number 1 defense in fantasy. They blew up the New York Giants for 23 points. Their sacks are out of control. I mean, they already have 16 sacks in 3 games, guys. That's bonkers. 15 points against the Niners, playoff team, contender. Houston Texans, 14 points against them, playoff team, contenders. Only let the Niners go over 300 yards, but that was kind of garbage time points. Held the New York Giants under 240. Held the Houston Texans under 300, which is a powerful offense. This defense is a force to be reckoned with, and honestly, you can play them season long right now as it's going. They're like the Steelers right now. If you grab this defense, you don't need another one. So that's my top 10 for each, guys. I'll go over it again for those of you listening. Brandon Aubrey, Kai Fairbairn, Harrison Bucker, Jake Moody, Chris Boswell, top 5 kickers. 6 through 10, Evan McPherson, Matt Prader, Blake Group, Justin Tucker, Younghoe Koo. My streamer kicker I like is Jake Bates because he's probably dropped to your wire. Number 1 defense is the Chiefs because they're going to get Easton Stick and they're going to eat him alive. New York Jets, San Francisco 49ers, Cowboys on a bounce back. I like them a lot versus Danny Dimes on Thursday Night Football. Number 5, the Steel Curtain. They're always startable every week. Number 6 is the Bears, 7, Browns, 8, Packers, 9, Texans, and 10 is the Falcons, guys. That is it for episode 66. What a long day, guys. I got all the ranking content out to you guys. My quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, now kickers in defense. What a day of researching. I'm absolutely exhausted. Make sure you smash that like. Make sure you smash that subscription button. Turn that bell on for when we're live, guys. It takes you 1 second, and it helps me out a ton, man. And if you guys have any questions, comments, anything fantasy football, if you can't make it into any of my live shows to ask the questions, make sure you drop them in the comments, and I will try to get to everything for you guys. And make sure tomorrow that you're tuned in, I will have my stardom sit-ems for every single position going as well there. And then we'll dive into a little information and behind-the-scenes stuff on Thursday of how it's done. I'm going to do a little show on Thursday as well. And that's it for me, guys. I'll catch you tomorrow, man. SleezBall out.